You've seen it everywhere. Olaplex, K18, bond repair shampoos and masks, and they all promise to rebuild your hair from the inside out. But do they really repair damage? Or are you just buying hope in a bottle? If you've ever bleached, dyed, or heat styled your hair, you've probably been told that bonding treatment is the only way to save it. And yet, after spending 30 quid on a tiny bottle, your hair still doesn't look like the ad. You're not imagining it. I've been there too. The industry thrives on that gap between the promise and the reality. And the truth is, brands love to dress these treatments up as miracles because they know the word repair sells better than the word maintain. I'm Heather. I studied chemistry and I work in finance, and I've wasted more money than I care to admit on products that overpromised and underdelivered. So now I use science and money sense to cut through the hype so you can finally know what's worth it and what's just marketing. And because I don't want you wasting another penny on the wrong products, I've made you a free hair care cheat sheet. It's a one-page guide that shows you exactly when to invest and when to save. You can grab it in the description below. To understand what bonding treatments actually do, we first need to zoom in on your hair structure. Think of each strand as a skyscraper. It stands tall because of the beams of scaffolding inside. In hair, those beams are chemical bonds. The first kind are hydrogen. They're weak and they break every time that your hair gets wet. That's why damp hair feels extra bendy or stretchy. Luckily, as soon as your hair dries, these bonds reform. This is also why those viral porosity tests, the one you drop your hair into a bowl of water, don't actually measure porosity. They're just showing how hydrogen bonds behave. If you've seen my porosity video, you'll know that the whole porosity system is more marketing myth than science. Next are ionic bonds, sometimes called salt bonds. These are a bit stronger than the hydrogen ones, but they depend on pH. A high pH product, like bleach or even hard water, can snap them. Acidic products, like some bonding rinses, help them reform. They do contribute to strength, but they're still more fragile than the strongest bonds, which brings us to the heavy lifters. Disulfide bonds. These are the strongest bonds and they hold your hair's shape and strength. They're the ones the hairdressers rearrange when they do a perm or chemical straightening. The bad news is that the disulfide bonds are also the ones that are broken by bleaching, colouring, relaxers, and heat styling. Even everyday life, like UV, washing, brushing, it slowly chips away at them over time. When too many of these bonds are broken, the scaffolding inside the strand collapses. That's when you see the classic signs of damage. Hair that snaps when stretched, feels rough, looks dull, tangles easy, or frizzes no matter what you do. In simple terms, damaged hair isn't just surface level. The internal structure has been weakened. So, if damaged hair comes from broken bonds, bonding treatments promise to be the fix. But here's the truth. Some of these fixes are powerful, some are temporary, and none are miracles. Let's look at the main types. There's Olaplex. This uses a patented molecule that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. It targets the broken disulfide bonds, the sulfur-to-sulfur links that give your hair its backbone, and it reconnects them. That's like stitching the ripped seam back into your favourite shirt. You're literally repairing the structure, not just covering it up. And lab studies now show Olaplex's molecule does penetrate the fibre and reconnect some of those disulfide links, but it doesn't stitch every seam. And it can't turn back time. Your shirt will never be brand new again. K18 works differently. It uses a bioactive peptide, basically a mini protein fragment that slips inside the hair and binds with the keratin chains. Instead of fixing disulfide bonds, it reinforces the protein itself. Think of it as one fabric in that same shirt. K18 weaves new threads into the thinning areas, making the fabric sturdier overall. So it does make hair feel stronger and bouncier, but it's not total repair. The fabric is reinforced, not replaced. Acid-based products like citric or malic acid formulas don't touch disulfide bonds at all. They lower your hair's pH, so weaker ionic bonds reform, and they smooth the cuticle on the outside. That's like ironing your shirt. It looks smoother, feels better, and behaves well, until the next wash. The rip underneath hasn't changed. And yet you'll still see brands marketing this as bond repair. Technically true for the weaker bonds, but in reality is mostly a shine trick with a premium price tag. And then there are the protein fillers, hydrolyzed proteins that slip into cracks in the hair shaft. That's like gluing a patch over a hole in your shirt. It makes it wearable for now, but the patch never becomes part of the fabric. The next wash, it just falls off. So yes, bonding products can reduce breakage, improve elasticity, and help you hold on to length. They're especially valuable if you bleach or colour often, but none of them can fully restore you back to virgin hair. Once the shirt's been ripped and worn, you can reinforce it, patch it, and make it last longer, but you can't make it brand new. So a bonding treatment's worth it. Here's the simple answer. If your hair is bleached, coloured, chemically straightened, or breaking from heat, a real bond builder like Olaplex or K18 can be worth it. They won't give you virgin hair again, but they can strengthen the fabric enough to stop it from tearing further, which means a lot less breakage and more length. And yes, whether it's an in-salon service or a bottle at home is not cheap. A salon bonding add-in can cost 20 to 40 quid, while at-home treatments like K18 or Olaplex are usually at least 30 quid each. But if your hair is natural, uncoloured, and you're not dealing with actual breakage, you don't need them. Sometimes hair feels dry or frizzy, but that doesn't mean that the bonds are broken. In those cases, a good conditioner or leave-in will do the job. And spending 30 quid on a bonding shampoo when your structure's already intact is just falling for the marketing. And even if you do need them, you don't need the whole line. The real work happens in the concentrated treatment. Think of it as picking one solid repair step instead of paying for a whole routine that you don't need. Remember, glossy marketing wants you to believe you need everything in the range. In reality, the treatment itself is where the value is. The rest is just clever upselling. And no, you can't overbond your hair. Once bonds are repaired, that's it. The worst that happens is your hair feels a little stiff if you overdo the protein. But the bond rebuilders themselves don't do any damage. And to make this even easier, I've made a free hair care cheat sheet. It shows you exactly when to invest and when to save, so you know where your money actually makes a difference. You'll find it linked below. This was the overview, but Olaplex has one patented molecule the whole industry is obsessed with, and the science behind it is wild. If you want the full breakdown, click through to that video next.